evening, Twitch. This is Parallax here tonight with you to paint. We're going to be hopefully joined by someone in the soonish future.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
I saw the state of things, and I had to help you out, man.
Nah, man, you're okay. Squick was going to come in a couple minutes.
Yeah. I was typing it right as you were saying that, Diggs.
Oh, so I hope everybody's having a good night. Appreciate Bulk stepping in here for a few minutes. Hopefully we give Bulk a chance to toddle off and go to bed here soon. He's had a long day.
Yeah.
So
let's not get into it.
we will not. We are not joined by Warlax tonight. Warlax is also feeling poorly. So it's just going to be me and whoever decides to come on in with us. To everyone saying hi in the chat, hi. Is my sound coming through okay? New microphone, who dis? To everyone saying hi in the chat, hi. Is my sound coming through okay? New microphone, who dis? Okay, that's good to see. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback there. Okay, I wanted to go ahead and step right into our user submissions for tonight. Let's see. I want to make sure I get names right on all this. I got some new ones this week, and let's make sure that I give you all the right names here. Okay, so these first three sets are all Battletech sets, and they are, looks like they're CGL models. They were submitted by Jason Peterson to the email. I don't have any information regarding what we're going for here. Looks like Jason's got a reasonably good start here on a Mad Cat, and yeah, I'm gonna call them by the spheroid names. So I mean that's eye break. Oh, okay. I guess I'll stop looking at the screen.
Okay.
You can all trust me. I'm looking at anything but the screen right now. How would you ever know? Anyway, actually, there's nothing else on in the room, so I don't know what else you'd be hearing. Huh. Anyway, like I said, got a very good start here on a Mad Cat. He's got a few others in here. Let's see what he's got. Okay, there's a Nova. I think these look like they're either metal or they are primed in metallic colors. I know Iron Wind has been doing some of the new models in metal, so it could go either way here, but those are definitely Catalyst bases.
5-second delay. Mute your browser window, Para. If you've got a browser open.
Well, that might do it. Can y'all still hear me? Bulk, ask them if they can hear me. Oh, okay. So I'm still getting yeses. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, so I'm not sure what that one on the left is. I know I've laid eyes on. I probably got one. I just don't remember what it is. Let's see.
The one on the left looks like if a Cyrus and a Jaegermech had a one-night stand.
Oof. You sure an Osiris? Because it's got like arms and shit.
It's got one arm.
Well, okay, that's fair. And there was one more that Jason sent us. What have we got there? It also threw in a gargoyle, and there's the Mad Cat from earlier. So okay, so we're going for kind of a color scheme here of metallic and red on one side and white and red on the other side. Maybe this is a particular clan unit. I'm not immediately sure, but interested in seeing with how this comes along. I think some washes on the metallic side will really help that out. On the other side, I would like to remind everybody that white is a perfectly nice color to use, but you want to start with some grays and build up to an off-white, and then just do your edge highlighting in solid white. So, because once you get up to white, you got nowhere else to go. But I'm liking where this is going. It'll be interesting to see it finished if we're not there already. And if, Jason, if you're listening and you are finished with it, I'm thrilled to see any paint on any model. So this is great. Let's see. And then we've got Lord Grimace submitted us a lance here of, let's see, this is a mixed lance. We've got an archer, a black knight, a mad cat, and a daishi. So they're in a kind of Cold War-esque NATO forest camo. I like to see that. Camos are surprisingly difficult to do well, just because it's weird. Like, I don't really know how to describe trying to make a semi-random pattern and make it look right, and like, as weird as it is, where that Cold War kind of forest camo was very, here's a green background with some black and brown and tan blobs on it. There are certain shapes to it that you really have to try to capture there, and if you don't get it, it comes across as trying and not accomplishing. But especially from the Mad Cat here, I can really tell that you're getting good at it. Oh, and I got one.
You gotta
Go ahead.
watch it.
Yeah,
you gotta blotch it, but maintain a pattern.
Mm-hmm. And you can't have stuff too close together, and it's got to go over edges, so it's like breaking up the silhouette, and it's a whole thing. I got one more here. The first 4 of these were submitted to us through the email that is art@wbpl76.com. If you want to submit fan art or miniatures that you've painted up, we're willing to take those there, and I'll show them off here. And, that goes for the other shows on the channel as well. So, and then last one, this was submitted to us through the WBPL76 Twitter, and this is from T-Square. T-Square, I know you're in here. And there you go. There's your, I believe that's the gargoyle. And that is definitely a specific Clan Galaxy unit, but I'm not sure which one it is. It's almost like the Ghost Bear Omega Galaxy, but the Ghost Bear Omega Galaxy is more black with the blue stripes. So, to Square, I'm sure you can tell us precisely what the pattern there is. But, yeah. Anyway, that's where we are tonight. Oh, Pi Galaxy. Gotcha. I'm actually going to be doing a Ghost Bear paint scheme tonight. I've got a Loki set up, and he's actually going to be an Alpha Galaxy Loki. There's a little bit of work left to do on, actually there's a fair bit of work left to do on him. I've got base coats on him, though. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've been working on for the last week or so. So, here we go. Oh, no, that is not the button. That's the button. Okay, here we have a Deathclaw. I'd like to think that everyone knows what a Deathclaw is. He looks, actually, honestly, I'm pretty happy with how he looks. I've only got the one angle of the shot in here on him, but he's a pretty gnarly looking Deathclaw. But, sometimes you get stuff like this where all it really takes is a nice solid earth tone as a base coat, and then you just kind of dry brush lighter and lighter colors over it until you get where you're going. And sometimes this shit is not hard, especially when something is like this and it's all kind of one color. But I was really happy with this, and I had some good basing on it too. So my dear sweet lovely wife went out and bought me some modeling paste last week that I've been using. So that has made for a very simple basing material for capturing muds and this kind of stuff. And Cold, are you really asking what dry brushing is? So dry brushing is a technique that I can show. Okay. Dry brushing is a technique where you take a brush that is, for the most part, dry, like literally not wet. And actually, you do want it to be a little bit wet, but like dip it in water and then dry it off on a paper towel. Then go to paint, and you get as much of the paint back off of it as you can. And like you go back and forth on paper towel, you do whatever you have to do to get almost all of it off. And then you go to the model and you just kind of swipe at it. And like you're trying to hit the edges, you're trying to hit the raised portions, anything where, like, if it were a real object in sunlight, something would be glinting off of it or it'd be catching the most light. And you just kind of swipe at it with that, and you can build up brighter colors over time with that. And for models that have a lot of texture to them, they can really... Okay, cold, for instance, in this one, where you see that I've got... there's kind of an earth tone generally all over this whole model. That's just the base. Everything on top of that is gray. So it keeps the dark colors in the recesses, and then you apply lighter and lighter layers as you come up, and it just kind of leaves a natural highlight on things. So I'll show it off tonight. I've got another model here that I'll show you how I'm doing it. Now, some people will say it's lazy. Some people will say it's a beginner technique. Those people are wrong, because whatever makes a model look good is a good technique. Okay, moving on past the Deathclaw. I worked on some other stuff too, I'm sure. Right, Bulk? I totally worked on other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, like Nightwing. I worked on Nightwing. There we go. Yeah. Now, Nightwing here, for instance, not at all dry brushed. He was layered, and layering is kind of the same idea as dry brushing, except it's very deliberate, and it's targeted with like the end of a brush, just like you're painting normally, but you're just doing smaller and smaller layers deliberately as you build up to a brighter highlight. So in the case of Nightwing here, you can see where the bottoms of the blue portions of his costume are a dark blue, and as they get higher and more pronounced, that blue gets brighter and brighter. And here's another thing real quick about dry brushing. Dry brushing is the shine. Actually, the shine, for the most part, there's some light reflection on him, but he has been hit with a matte coat. So that's mostly paint. And it's not like I used a reflective paint. That's just I built up to a brighter color there. There's some like very white highlights on there that are tricks of the light, but like that general increase in highlight color, that was deliberate. I was going to say something else. I've forgotten what it was. But anyway, next thing. I was going to say dry brushing. There's two things here. Dry brushing is a technique, but there is also a kind of brush that is called a dry brush. That, frankly, for the most part, you don't need a dedicated dry brush. But if you decide you do, you'll either want to use a flat brush, or what a lot of people have been using lately is cheap makeup brushes. Cheap makeup brushes are amazing for this because they're super soft. They don't like get down to the crevices where a stiffer brush might, and they're just great. Especially on terrain, like the biggest possible makeup brush you can find is perfect for terrain. Like you can build up a piece of worn cement in no time with just a giant fuck all foundation brush. So after that, I don't know how many of you in here remember Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess from either its original GameCube/Wii release or the Wii U HD release, but I enjoyed the hell out of that game, and this is what do they call Shadow Beast, I think. These things would pop up in groups of 3 at all of your fast travel locations. And yeah, I think this was an Arakio Studios Patreon. So, yeah, he popped up, and he was a real quick paint because he was effectively colored with contrast paint. Although, not actually contrast paint. I'm using my Pro Acryl transparents again, but just a little bit of mixing of colors in that, and then just application onto it, and a little bit of edge highlighting onto him on his mask. And yeah, I was real happy with that. Did I have one more? His back. That's right. And they've got these glowing things on their backs. Let's make sure that that's everything before I move on. Was that everything? No, I got one more thing to show off. And that is, we didn't manage to finish Piccolo Cicada last week. So here we go, Piccolo Cicada. I guess he's shirtless in this analogy.
Oh, awesome.
And also, you will notice in the next image here, I did go ahead and replace one of those medium lasers with a
PPC?
No, it's not PVC. It's styrene. It's tube styrene. Just a little bitty piece of styrene over one of those medium lasers, and now he has a PPC. So I guess he has a drill attack, a drill beam, if you would. Some kind of special drilling beam cannon.
Open source. Totally.
Exactly. But let's go ahead and hop into it with the actual camera here. Hi, camera. So this is what we're going to be working on tonight. I've got a few things laid out here. This is the Loki I was talking about earlier. I've already got him base coated. I intend for him to be an Alpha Galaxy. I've got a reference image here pulled up, Ghost Bear Alpha Galaxy. So he'll need to be darkened up a little bit. I'll probably do that with a very thin layer of black. And, go through and do the touch-ups, and then we will splatter some white onto him for the starbursts. Then we have an Orion here. This is, these are all the MechWarrior Online style ones, but this is the Hero Orion from MWO. That is basically Kerensky's Orion. He's got the Gauss rifle. He's got the PPC. I like this thing. I like Orions a lot. They are one of my favorite mechs. And then we have a 6R Warhammer, just because somehow we've been almost a month since the Warhammer video, and I haven't painted one on stream yet, so I figured we'd do that. But then I got one more thing here. One more. From Arachio Studios also, just like the Twilight Princess thing was. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see that terribly well. The white balance is... Whoops. That's a Ridley, and his wing just popped off. We can fix that. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Let's see.
A little bit of spit.
We will do this thing that I do where I keep super glue on hand, but not only do I keep super glue on hand, I keep accelerant on hand. And I will give everybody a little tip on accelerant, like the readily accessible stuff that I can get from hobby stores and that kind of stuff comes in a spray bottle and is dramatic overkill. Okay, I need a different toothpick for this because that one is caked. And not like the kind of cake you want to eat. That cake is in fact not true. Okay. So the dramatic overkill spray bottles, whenever that bottle got low, I moved it to a precision dropper bottle. Precision dropper bottle. This can be another thing. No, Cake Boss, not you. You're not the lie. You're not the lie. This specific cake is a lie. Okay, there we go. So a little bit of the accelerant out of the precision dropper bottle, and then we will just put that right there, and that will cure in about 5 seconds. And there it is. So Oh, okay. I thought my stream froze for a second. It just turns out as being very, very still on camera.
Yeah. Yeah. So does that accelerant melt the plastic?
It does not. This is not plastic, but what the accelerant does is it activates the super glue.
Okay.
Now, I have plastic cement in various places around here. One thing to remember about plastic cement is that, for the most part, plastic cement is a very specific set of chemicals. And there's a good chance you don't really need to buy plastic cement per se. For the most part, when you get it, it is a mix of a couple of chemicals that you can buy at the hardware store, and then there's a little bit of clear styrene that's melted into it to thicken it. And then what that does is when you apply it to proper plastic, like you would get out of most GW models or modern Battletech models, not resin, it will melt both sides of the plastic and effectively weld them. But that takes a little bit of time and doesn't work on resin. I'd like to thank my lovely wife real quick for bringing me whiskey rocks today. I didn't have whiskey rocks before today, and now I do. Anyway, Ridley, Orion, Warhammer, Loki. I don't know how much we're going to get through. I intend to work on Ridley today. He'll be my main piece. We're going to let that super glue finish curing before we get to him now, though. But he'll end up with... You can see I already gave him a zenithal highlight. Dark on the bottom, light on the top. He'll be good when we get to him, but we'll start off with like a very dark coat. And then, Cole, just for you, I will show you how to do some of that dry brushing. Although we'll have to be really careful around the wings because I don't want them to pop off again. And oh boy, if you think the wings are kind of just barely on there, the head is even more tenuous. But I don't know what to do yet with the Warhammer or the Orion. So if y'all want to give me some ideas, we can look at that. But I am going to start with the look. Oh, okay. And that is my headset telling me that it needs some battery. So I am going to get that, assuming I can actually get to that cable, which could be a problem. Guys, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties tonight. Not tremendously bad ones, just noticeable ones. Let's think about this for a second. Do I have another handy micro USB cable that's not plugged into the back of my computer? I think I might. Give me just a moment. We're going to switch over to the technical difficulties screen, which in this case is standby. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, guys, important lesson. Charge your wireless headphones more often. Anyway, I am now tethered directly to my computer, so this will be a little bit more interesting. But we can make this work.
And if you hear him gasp or wince, yeah,
if you hear me go,
know what happened.
Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to work on this Alpha Galaxy for now. And for the most part, what that means is we're going to try to tone down some of this rather bright blue that we've got going on. Which, I mean, frankly, it's not super bright, but it's too bright for my current purposes. So, we're going to take some of my favorite Pro Acryl transparent black here. By the way, I'm going to turn on my desk fan here for a number of purposes, and hopefully you won't hear it. Because I actually have set up some noise suppression as a filter, and if it does come through, let me know, and I will do something about it. Anyway, so start off with this some of this transparent black, and we're going to thin the absolute hell out of it. Oh, something else is a John Deere Warhammer.
Oh.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Well, then I guess we know which tractor is best mech.
That's right. The Kubota Orion.
Kubota Orion. There we go.
Okay, but I am reminded, because somehow I forgot. For those of you that are aware of the concept of the new Marik workshop as like the base of the joke, based on the old PBS show, the new Yankee workshop with Norm Abrams.
I like that.
As it turns out, Norm Abram, who has been on PBS now for like 40 years, first on the new Yankee workshop, then this old house, is actually retiring. New Holland Hollander.
The New Hollander. There you go, Square.
Oh shit!
Well done.
I'm gonna have to get a Hollander now.
I am so glad somebody said it. I have to let you guys roll with this.
Oh, okay. Next week I'm gonna have a Hollander. We're gonna make this happen. The New Holland Hollander. That's just perfect. What I'm doing right now is I'm just taking some of that transparent black that I was talking about earlier, thinned with our homemade contrast medium that is a little bit of acrylic medium, some water, and some flow improver, so that really gets down into the cracks and crevices there. And we're just going to make some happy little black shadows and try to just generally bring the saturation of that blue down a bit to get to that very, very dark Alpha Galaxy pattern. And I'm guessing so far nobody's actually hearing the desk fan, or you would have told me, but... Oh, wait.
I'm hoping nobody's hearing it, because I actually have the stream muted.
Ah, well, me too.
As we should.
But I wanted to hear me. Which I suppose, with this new microphone, I could really do that if I wanted to. But then, I'm wearing like 2 sets of headphones at that point, and it's just getting fucking silly.
Thin paints with what do you... Oh.
What?
Cold's asking what do you thin your paints with?
Okay, that depends on what I'm doing. If it's just like I need it thin, then water is fine. However, the downside to using water as a thinner is that your paint will dry faster. And that's whether it's on the palette or on the model. Like water doesn't care, it is going to evaporate pretty quick. If you are trying to give yourself a longer working time, there are various kinds of mediums you can use. Like, for instance, this is glaze medium. It is very thick, but again, you can thin that with water if you want to. But glaze medium, because it is an acrylic medium as opposed to water, it will thin down the amount of pigments in, your paints as you're working with them, and allows you to put on very, very thin layers of color. And it will not dry out very quickly. The same thing will go generally for just basic acrylic medium, but acrylic medium is basically the same thing that the pigments in your paint are already floating in. And glaze medium, I'm not 110% sure what the difference there is. I think it might be a little bit thinner, but I would not swear to it. Like, I have heard that there might not actually be a difference there. I'm not going to swear to that one way or another, but maybe. Who knows? Chemistry and shit, right? Anyway.
So y'all made a wash. I really want to know. Okay.
What's that?
Thunderclap is apparently doing his first mech.
Oh, what's
Yeah,
it? What?
yeah.
What?
Technically, Para did make a wash.
Kinda. Yeah, kind of a wash. But it was a very specific kind of wash. It's a very, very you know, I suspect you might even be able to call it a filter. It's that thin.
Yeah.
So, like your concepts there, you start at, like, you have paint, right? Just paint. And you step down from that level of saturation of your pigments. Then you step down to a glaze. And a glaze, like, you're going to notice a glaze when you put it over something. It is substantially thinner than your just standard slightly thinned paint. And a glaze will let you build up color over time and
Yep.
work up to a highlight, whatever.
It has about the consistency of milk
It can.
on a brush.
Well, it can't. Like, a lot of times that's... Anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, a lot of this is super relative and it depends on how you're doing it. But if you're looking at it from the point of consistency, then, like, it's paint and then it's wash and then it's filter. And a filter is just the absolute thinnest, barely tinted water you can come up with. And, like, don't even worry about filtering unless you're spending like 200 hours on a model for competition, because, like, you're going to take dozens and dozens of layers to get an apparent effect. And when it works, it's amazing. But it is literally dozens of hours of your life. Okay, where can you get the... Okay, so, here's weird. I'm going to do you a real solid right now and tell you that if you go to myminifactory.com and you look up Syllogy, Syllogy, he has almost... I don't think he has all of the MechWarrior 5, MechWarrior Online models, but, like, he has a ton of them. And he has some variants here and there, and he has some stuff that's not in the game that he's kit bashed out of other pieces that are in the game. But Syllogy is kind of one of those creators that when you start making MechWarrior models, like, everybody gravitates to that at first. And if you're happy with that, great. If you want something different, you'll branch out and find some other makers over time. But yeah, Matt Mason, Syllogy is a really great model maker for getting specifically the MechWarrior Online stuff, which is like, that's a MechWarrior Online, that's a MechWarrior Online. Like, the 3 mechs that you have here are MechWarrior Online, MechWarrior 5 mechs. Holy shit. Thank you, El Stevador, or perhaps El Stevadore.
Converting from Prime Sub to a Tier 1. I hope you did that on the 30-day mark, sir.
Spending real money on this shit.
Yeah.
Has anyone told them that, like, we're just going to spend it on dumb shit?
Well, yeah, apparently the first donations to help coat Chippy and Gravy.
Oh?
Yeah, he's doing gravy wrestling.
Well, there you go.
So he is going to be the mightiest gravy man.
He shall be the gravulator.
Yep.
Anyway, I am mixing up another coat of this black, not quite a wash, because I don't want it just to settle down in the cracks. I actually do want to tint the whole thing here. So this is probably more of a glaze in function, if not necessarily consistency. But we're going to put it on Ridley, because if we're going to go by, like, the Super Metroid color pattern here, Ridley is gray, but I will kind of build up to blue-gray highlights on him. So we need to go from this white-black, grayscale kind of thing, and need to deaden that out a bit and really darken in the recesses and tint everything else. So he gets this all over to start with.
So yeah, it's going to be store-bought gravy. This is apparently actually a really big event in Yorkshire. Or okay, that's not where Chippy lives. I'm sorry, Chippy. I've done you a disservice. You and the new fuck that is also from the Northlands.
The hinterlands. Cole, I will agree with you that like Game Boy Advance Metroid Fusion Ridley is purple, and maybe in a few other places he's purple. Maybe even in Zero Mission he's purple, but in Super Metroid he's gray. And at some point, I'm sure that the maker that I follow, that I will do the wings purple for you. I will do the wings purple for you, Cole, just for you. Also, I think they are actually purple, so that helps. But Cole, because you're here and you're asking such astute questions, I'm going to tell you that with the kind of primer base coat that I have on this, that I was calling a zenithal highlight earlier, I want to use basically transparent stuff on this. And by doing that, I can maintain the highlights I already have built in. And this was just rattle can spray paint and primer. So, gray or black and then gray and then white. And, that gives you your highlights where light would be hitting this thing if you do it right, where you start all over black and then like at a 45-degree angle, you come in and do white or gray all the way around. And then basically from like 5 or 10 degrees off of dead center above, you do white. And that gives you all your highlights. And then if you do like a transparent coat on this, your highlights are already built in. It's perfect. Beep boop, Squick is here. Squick, if you want to go ahead and step in, Bulk was doing me a favor and filling in for a bit. I think Bulk is about to collapse. He's had a day.
Yep. Hey, kids, congratulations. You get upgrades.
I don't know about upgrades.
Yeah, Squick.
Hi, Squick.
Hello, good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's WBPL 76 with your special radio host, Squick.
Live from Van Zant. It's good to be here.
I'm sorry, Cold. Next time you can join me.
The Mercs. Oh, actually, getting cold in here is a lore would be good.
You know what? Come on in, Cold. Get in here. We'll have you too. You can ask questions live, and we'll have Squick and me, and we'll see how things go.
Wait, is he cool to come in?
I don't know. Cold, are you approved?
Dun dun dun. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Hello, chat. And hello, chat.
That's right. We have Squick here with us now. Squick, who is in fact the voice of WBPL on Van Zant.
Ooh, and thank you to Night Clerk for giving a tier 1 sub to Mr. Fez.
There we go.
Man.
Thank you, Night
Now
Clerk.
you're going to be extra classy.
Damn straight. Now, Squick, I have to ask you, because you came in because I was asking for volunteers. Squick, do you paint?
Oh, I mostly replica prop work, but...
Now I'm interested.
Well, I have like a table full of unpainted minis because I don't have a local minis-based game, but I do have a couple of resin printers, and they're fun.
They are. That's what I've got on this. So I'm running on an Elegoo Mars 3 now. I started on an OG Photon, and eventually it just shit the bed. No.
Do that. Was it just a screen failure? Sorry, I am prepared to nerd about printer things far into the night.
Okay, so here's what happened, and I will try to keep painting while I do this. I apologize if I get off topic here. So here's what happened. At some point, Chidu, the actual hardware company, Chidu, released an upgrade package for like the original Mars 2, and the Photon that dropped the screen resolution of those original printers, but they were mono screens. So it like doubled the print speed.
Yeah, I saw an ad for that where it looks like they're actually going with parity resolution now and mono screen.
I'm going to tell you, you are deeper into that than I am, because I don't immediately know what that means.
Oh, okay. Do you care? That's an important question before I go off.
I care a little. But to answer the question quickly, that 1080 screen just, over time, it just gave out on me. And, like, I had to fight with it for a long time. And after a few months, I just decided, you know, yes, I could replace the screen again, but also I could buy a new printer while stuff was on sale. So back in January, I bought a Mars 3, and I have been very happy with it and have had no problems with it.
Very nice. Yes, print nerds unite indeed. No, I also have a Photon, not the OG Photon, but the Photon.
So the
1.5.
Photon S in an original Photon case.
Kind of, yeah. It's the one that requires the weird adapter when you replace the screen. But I've gone through that song.
Actually, the OG Photon needs that too.
No, the OG Photon takes the straight cable, doesn't it? Without the 90 bend.
Okay, let me put it like this. For like a regular one, maybe, but for the because the original Photon uses I don't immediately know which. I think it uses the version 1 Cheetah board, but for the screen that I put into it, I had to have the adapter.
Yeah, okay, then yeah, we're dealing with the same one.
Okay.
And yeah, I have done many dumb things with mine and killed 3 or 4 screens. One of them was the machine's fault.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just lost at 0 and pressed right down into it, didn't it?
No, I've never cracked a screen, not like that. But I did have one where, well, the UV finally got to it.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Then I wound up going, okay, this is cool. But a buddy of mine wound up getting something with a mono screen. It was just like, oh,
this is much faster.
That is significantly faster. And then
for those of you that don't know, coming into this, screens on most of these printers, on most SLA printers, they are a consumable. Like, you are supposed to occasionally replace these. Now, on things like the Photon Ultra, which to my knowledge still isn't actually out, it doesn't use an LCD screen. It uses a projector and a mirror.
Yes, a DLP screen, and it's damn fancy, and I want one, but not enough to pay out the money.
$600.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, yeah, the $600 that thing will eventually be when it gets to market.
Yeah. Chat would like to know, or Swish AOW from chat would like to know, what you painting?
What am I painting? Well, this, for those of you that are familiar, this is Ridley from specifically Super Metroid, because otherwise Cold is going to call me out for him being the wrong color. But Super Metroid Ridley, not Riddle, because
no, he's Mr. Riddle now.
He's Mr. Riddle, the dragon, the space dragon.
He fights Batman.
He does. He's the space dragon that fights Batman. This is true.
Yeah, it's not on TV.
He's from Apocalypse.
So, the fan, in answer to your question, yes, this is Ridley.
Anyway, so there's a couple of base coats on Ridley to kind of get that gray going, and we're going to go ahead and step back over here to our good friend the Loki, because somehow we've already been streaming for almost an hour. I don't know how that happens.
I mean, fancy timing, shenanigans, the works. You take your pick.
This is all true. Here at WBPL 76, all kinds of shit can happen.
It's amazing, really, when you stop to think about it, that everyone here took the time out of their day to show up, and time continues for all of us, each with our own varied lives.
That's right. Billions and billions of people tune in every week to watch WBPL 76 all across the cosmos. That's right. Billions and billions.
Or at least that's what we tell the ad agency.
This is true. We have actually told Twitch.tv, I don't know whether or not they believe us yet, but we have told them that approximately 6.5 billion people view WBPL 76. And so we're clear. We do tell them those are unique viewers.
Yes, very unique. So I'm going to pass another question to you from chat, and then
I'm
going to dash for just a moment to grab a personal beverage.
A personal beverage, not a public beverage, people.
It lubricates my human meat.
Ooh, me too.
Yes, so Cold Dog would like to know, how quickly do your paints dry? Or how much do you let them dry before adding on another layer? And further, what's the effect you get if you paint on wet/damp paint compared to dry?
Okay, so a couple of things here. Sometimes you actively want to paint over wet paint. And what you're trying to do when you do that is to blend the two colors. So let's find something, preferably something primed. Let's say, oh, here we go. We'll do, I need to find something with a big flat area. Damn. Here we go. The Argo. We all know what this is. We're all Battletech nerds, right? So what you're trying to do whenever you have wet paint on wet paint, first off, depending on what kind of effect you're trying to get, you do want this to stay wet for a little bit. So I don't suggest doing this with straight water. But what you're doing there is a process called wet blending. And basically what you're trying to accomplish is in wet blend, and we'll just try to make something purple here. This should be nice and apparent whenever I get this done. Is you take wet paint and you take wet paint, and by combining two different colors of wet paint, you will in fact get the colors to overlap on each other, which, it does exactly what you think it would do. If I take, actually, I don't even need to do the model. I can do this right on the palette. So if you take this blue paint and put it over this red paint, when the red paint is dry, you will just apply blue paint. And if you take the wet paint here, and you don't necessarily, when you're wet blending, need to clean your brush between every stroke, but for the purposes of this, I will. And you take this blue paint and you get them right up next to each other, then your objective is to swirl them into each other in such a way that you end up blending them.
Ooh, you're making blurple.
I'm making blurple. And if you do this right, and this is another technique thing that beginners don't necessarily know, is that when you swipe your brush, and you take some of this blue and you go swipe, then every time you do this, you're actually kind of pulling your paint in the direction that you're brushing. So you can see this blue here is pooling up here at the end of the stroke. So when you're trying to get this to be purple, and sometimes blending paints can be a little bit cantankerous for various reasons. We can talk about that. But you see, as I move this around back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, that blend is going to get a little bit smoother. If I take a little bit more of this red and come in from the other side, I'm pulling red in toward the blend, and then I'm pulling the blend back out, and I just swirl it back and forth. And that should give me a better blend of the purple there with a smoother transition. So this is just a real quick and dirty way to do this. And that's what you get whenever you're doing wet on wet. You do dry on dry, you're just going to get okay, here's some blue, or some red as it were, because I'm not colorblind. And you let that dry for a minute, then you put the blue over it. The blue is probably just going to cover the red up. But when you do it when they're both wet, you'll get a blend. Now, this looks more grayish than it does purple. That's due to the nature of the chemistry of the paints. For those of you that are not familiar with the way that most of these paints are made, there's the liquid in this that is the acrylic medium that the pigments are suspended in. And then for the most part, unless you're dealing with artist paint, there is a blend of pigments to achieve the color that you're looking for. But because you have a blend of pigments, the more stuff you pile on together, the more desaturated you're going to end up with in a color. So if you take this blue and this red and you blend them together like this, you're going to end up with something desaturated, kind of grayish. So it'll be generally purple. If you had a golden, Golden, this brand right here, Golden, has a new line of just super matte paints. And they are 1 or 2 pigment paints. And you blend those, they're going to give you a more vibrant color. Now, because they are what they are, this is titanium white. So this is honest to God colored with titanium oxide.
Fancy. Though I am going to break in for just a moment to point out that Hydrate has been redeemed, I think you're legally required to drink that paint tube.
How about we go with the bourbon? Can I go with bourbon?
Okay, that's probably fine.
Okay.
Then Posture Tech and Big Stretch Oh, something's tragically wrong with your ice cubes.
Well, they're whiskey stones.
Well, that's legal here now, so...
What? Oh, big stretch and posture at the same time. Anyway. So that's what you get whenever you blend the two colors together. But wet on wet gives you a blend, and then, like, that red there is dry. If I go over that with blue, it's just blue. See? But whenever I get into the red there, you can see it purples up a little.
Okay, so my turn to ask a question, because I have a microphone and no one can stop me.
This is true. He is, in fact, unstoppable. We've all tried.
Ha! It's adorable. But what's your technique for shaking your paint? You use a paint shaker by hand? You got?
I do it by hand. At some point, I'm going to invest in a vortex shaker
because I have an off-brand vortex shaker, and it is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a piece of lab equipment or a piece of tattoo ink equipment, and it's like, oh, why would you ever need this? And then you're sitting here especially with like contrast paint, or specifically like white apothecary white contrast paint. You shake it and you can see all this super bright sediment here in the bottom. That's all your pigments. You have to do this, and like this you could be shaking this for 2 minutes pretty hard to get that to redistribute. Or you could have that lid wasn't entirely shut.
And that's where you double check before you put it in the blender.
That's that too. But what the vortex mixer does is it actually creates a vortex within your bottle or your paint pot and mixes shit together with agitation. It's amazing. And at some point I'll drop the $40 or $50 to get one because I have bad wrists.
It jiggles your paint with science. If you have bad wrists, it may not be the best for you, depending on how they react.
It's mostly the action of the rapid back and forth of shaking it. I would make the motion, but then like we all know what that looks like.
Yeah, self-demonstrating article. So follow up there. I've also had excellent luck at a lower price point with the items marketed as nail polish shakers.
I have not heard good things about those, but I haven't tried them.
They're loud. They're obnoxious. They shake
Good.
your table.
Good.
And they shake your paint for $20.
Well, I'm kind of at a point in my life where I am willing to pay more money to get the thing that does the job properly.
Oh, yeah, than a cheap vortex mixer. They're great.
Yeah. And like I have also been led to understand, for those of you watching at home, that sometimes you can like get on eBay and score used lab equipment for this kind of shit.
Yes, used lab equipment is so cool and so terrifying.
Yes.
What was this used for? Do not lick it. What happens if I do lick it? The questions you must ask with every eBay purchase.
This is true. Which reminds me, don't lick your eBay stuff. Just generally.
Yeah, if it comes from the internet, probably don't lick it unless you bought it specifically for licking, in which case...
If it came from eBay, I'm still not sure I'd lick it. If it came from eBay, I'd be more willing to lick it than if I bought it from Wish.
Ooh, that's true.
Wish.com. I promise it's not made of lead. Asterisk. Promises are not an actual legal binding term.
Oh, Wish.com. We'll sell you crack pipes and lady urinals, no matter what you're searching for.
I keep ending up with stuff from Wish where it's like, hey, do you want to buy a whiskey still? And I'm like, that's not legal.
It's medicinal.
Sure. I'm sure the revenuer will agree with me whenever he gets here.
It is a fancy statue. It says so on the import paperwork.
That's right. It's a fancy statue made out of stainless steel pots and copper piping.
Exactly.
It's a functional statue.
So, yeah, speaking of weird painting gadgets.
Weird painting
I
gadgets.
have to find the name of this thing. Have you seen / heard of the Rinsewell?
Is that like that? It's like a little stand that you put down in your water that's got like a mesh top on it so you're not scraping your paint against the bottom of the jar. for your brush?
No,
Okay.
no, that's not bad though. This is like a water saucer, like a water cup for your paintbrush, but with very little water and with a refill bottle on it, and a button you press, and it's like a toilet for your paintbrush.
Oh,
Like-
a paintbrush toilet.
Yeah, your water's super crapped up, you hit the toilet button, and then it refills with clean water from the
Ooh.
bottle.
That sounds much more likely to work than my myriad of Tabasco brand pepper jelly jars.
Well, it kind of depends. It's not perfect, but I've had very good luck with it, and it's supposed to be quite good. Ooh, that is classy. I like it.
Yeah. I have like 3 of them.
But yeah, I mean, I can send you a link to one of those if that's something that would interest you.
Send me the link. I don't know that I'm interested, but I'll look at it. I'll look at anything. That is not an invitation, chat. That is not an invitation.
Like, hey, I sent you an image of this online. I hope your jelly spheres enjoy it. They're bringing the message directly to your human brain.
Oh, God. WBPO 76 does not endorse anything strictly illegal. Please don't send it to us.
Unless it's fun.
It depends. If it meets the broad definition of publicly acceptable fun, sure. If it's a very personal definition, consult friends first. You know, I'm doing this backward. I really should have paint spattered on this before I started applying the silver, because now I'm going to have to go back and clean the paint spatter off of this when I get to the starburst.
That's fair. But you are receiving accolades for the paint job.
Oh, thank you.
And Cav, technically, since Diggs owns all birthdays,
He does.
Any birthday you celebrate is Diggs' birthday.
That's right. Today is, in fact, Diggs' birthday, as is tomorrow and yesterday.
Yes.
Be sure to send him, especially Cold. If you're still in here, be sure to go ahead right now and send Diggs a private message that says happy birthday.
Yes, he will enjoy it very much.
He will. I promise he will have feelings about it.
Yes, happy birth, Diggs, indeed. Now, honestly, wow, chat, you have excellent names, but they're so hard to pronounce with my mouth instead of my keyboard.
Is your primitive oral interface not up to the task?
Look, I didn't expect to have to use it for this, so I just grabbed what was available.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't know you had a modular interface, so that's on me.
Look, you take what you can get. My budget went elsewhere. This was leftover. It's fine. It's a refurb. It's fine.
That's okay. Is it like an open box or like actual refurb? Did you have like a 15% off coupon from eBay for like eBay certified mouth receptacles?
I possess many human coupons.
This sounds entirely legit. Chat, make sure that you write this down and send Squick all of your available orifices.
No. Do not do any of the words the crazy man just said.
Coincidentally, someone tell me if the cackle over the microphone just peaked out, because this was the reason for new microphone, and we're hoping that this solves the peaking problem.
I didn't hear any peaking on this end.
Excellent.
It did sound like it auto-ducked.
Yes, that I did put a condenser filter on it.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, then you're good. You can now cackle evilly to your heart's content. I did clip slightly.
No,
Not
I mean,
bad.
One can only expect so much when you have such an absurd cackle.
Well, now the chat wants to know about the microphone.
My microphone. Well, it is in fact a one that came from Amazon. It is a Rhodes Mini something or other. I'm really, really sorry. Like, I don't immediately know.
Podcaster Mini?
Yes, that one. It came recommended. It came right. And I will go ahead and tell you all this. I've been hemming and hawing about saying anything about this. This microphone is y'all's fault. The channel provided this for me. So,
hey, good job, channel.
So that's right. WBPL 76, viewer and listener supported. WBPL 76. WBPL, location redacted, public television.
We're available in space.
We're available in places
such as human land and moon.
We are available, in fact, in Neanderthal, Austria.
Yes.
This is, in fact, a real place. I advise no one to look into it. Believe nothing. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no?
Nothing of consequence happened. Well, mother puss bucket. Well, I was mentioning earlier.
Stream just got up.
I was mentioning earlier that head was very precariously attached to the body, and we have just seen the outcome of that. However, this is an easy fix, and we will simply glue it back on. For the second time tonight, y'all get to see my gluing process.
For alas, poor Ridley.
We knew him, Horatio.
I mean, I'm no gameologist, but I'm pretty sure that's canonically accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's not inaccurate, especially like if it's a speed run. I'm sure something like this happens. I did like 300 charged shots, and then I jumped into his grasp to save the frames. Those of you that will get the joke, I appreciate you. But to go ahead and build on the Hamlet joke, he bore me on his back I know not how oft.
Mm-hmm.
Squick, I will say this to you, and I will not go into details because I don't know if she's watching or not. She is. Oh, and I have been threatened by my wife. If I wake up my son, I will die. But
that does happen.
My wife is in fact an expert on English literature.
I'm not, but I can read things pretty loud.
That is, in fact, at least roughly half of the Shakespeare experience.
Oh, we're looping all the way around to...
Squick, honestly, last week, Bulk and I talked for like 45 minutes about cars. So, like, anything is on the table here.
I mean, I know almost nothing about cars, but I appreciate them. I enjoy driving them from time to time, and if they go fast, that's cool. I just wish they wouldn't do it quite so close to me.
What if they weren't necessarily fast, but they felt fast?
Okay, slow car fast is amazing.
Yes, slow car fast with good handling.
I'm less sold on that one because I've got like a terrible 1980s 50cc motor scooter downstairs.
Okay, that's fair.
It is awful.
It's a Honda, isn't it?
It hates everything. It spent like 20 years being owned by not just like turbo crackhead from downtown city.
Downtown city is, in fact, the worst place to be a crackhead.
Well, they had transportation up until they didn't, and then some other guy bought it off of them for like, I'll give you $50 just to stop using that. And they were like, cool, it's yours. And then they sold it to me. And now it is mine, and it barely runs, and it is awful, and everything about it is bad, except for all of it, which is amazing.
Well, you see, I'm thinking
no power.
I'm thinking more like fast car, slow. That when it runs and handles well is amazing. Like,
well,
we're gonna get back into this real quick.
Like you're going the speed of light.
Okay. At least your molecules are being vibrated like that.
That is also true, and the cars behind you really complete the experience.
I'm sure they do. See, I'm thinking more like an MGB. You know, you seem like the kind of guy that would appreciate an old British car, Squig.
I mean, I spent years driving a Geo Metro. That's kind of the same.
I mean, no, but yes.
It has cylinders.
They have
and
wheels.
Also wheels. Yes, so in a number of key respects, it resembles the product.
When you break it all down, your average Geo Tracker really is the same thing as a Corvette, you know.
Oh man, I want a Geo Tracker. Like, they seem dumb.
I'm
but
gonna.
fun.
Well, one, you need to be aware that they are in fact Isuzus.
Yeah.
So
I don't know enough about cars to be worried, so it's fine.
no, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying if you can find an Isuzu Samurai, it's the same car.
Oh yeah, okay, kind of like the what was it, the Geo Metro and the Suzuki Swift.
Something like that, yes, or very much like the original Ford Ranger in the Mazda, not the Tribute,
2000?
not the Tribute. The Tribute was the off-brand Gen 1 Escape. I can't remember what the original whose it was. Oh, we've got a question from Night Clerk.
We actually have two questions. Night Clerk made theirs, extra bold though. So let's go with that first.
Okay.
My resin printer let the magic smoke out today. Are modern filament printers good enough for mini printing?
Well, yes,
Asterisk.
but also no.
Yeah, if you are willing to go absolutely mad, like throw on a 0.2 millimeter nozzle, get everything dialed in perfectly, use exactly the right filament, handle all of your overhangs just perfectly, you can get a substandard mini
Yes.
in a lot of time.
Now, that
Versus-
said, resin printers are getting stupid cheap.
Yes. It is a completely different discipline, though. Like,
Yes.
some of it does carry over. You're in for a learning curve.
Now, it seems to me like he already had a resin printer, so he's familiar with that. But for chat in general, they are fundamentally different critters.
Fair. And now going back in time just a little bit.
Yeah,
Kai Harper, 89, wants to know.
2000.
Question for painters.
Answer
Catalyst
from
Minis.
painters.
I've got Catalyst Minis and have yet to paint them. Would rather not coat the bases in primers, so I'm guessing some masking tape would be enough to stop that. Are there any easier ways without possibly covering the feet?
Yes.
Liquid mask?
Or blue tack.
Oh, blue tack is cheating. I like it. You can also get a liquid masking agent, which will give you a little bit more precise control than the blue tack, but it's not going to be nearly as robust, since it's basically just really thin latex.
Yes. And like I said, blue tack, this shit right here, this shit is shockingly cheap. Like the whole thing is $1. In 2 years, I've gone through like half a packet. So, it is very good for what it does. Although, frankly, out of the pack is very sticky. Like, you really want to contaminate it with something before you start using it for masking, that kind of stuff. Because it can be a pain in the ass to get it off right out of the pack. Like, if you can get, like, the gray poster tack and the blue tack, and then, like, mix equal parts of it, it's perfect.
Wonderful.
So let's say, I think Ridley still needs to be darker. What do you think? I don't think he's quite dark enough.
Honestly, I have no basis for comparison.
Okay.
I like what I'm seeing so far.
Thank you. I don't know if Cold's still in here. Oh, there's Cold. Hi, Cold. Yes. I'll tell you what, Cold, next week we will... Thank you. Next week, I'm going to see if I can get Diggs to approve you to be in here, and I'll just jabber at you for 2 hours. And we're going to not thin this down as much this time, because I do want it to get darker. But
Busting out the thick paint.
a little bit, but I want everybody to remember this is still transparent black, which is not a sentence that actually makes any sense, but we're going to go with it. So, there we go. That's
Well, that's the magical thing about paints, color, what have you. You can be completely wrong. Like, your words don't make any sense if parsed in the order in which they're presented, and people will still know exactly what you mean.
Yes. Okay, Squick, you were saying you have a pile of minis laying around that you haven't painted. What kind of minis are they?
Oh, a bunch of legally not 40K stuff.
Okay. Visually similar to, but legally distinct from 40K
Yeah, because
models.
I never got into 40K, but I love the aesthetic of some of their stuff.
Mhm.
So I joined a Patreon thing for a while that had like, yeah, we're making tanks and we're making like weird armored dudes with space guns.
You know, I think I have over time belonged to a couple of those. Again, I also don't play 40K, but it's good occasionally to have something to gauge your skill against. And there's more 40K, like high quality 40K painters out there than there is anything else.
I love their legally distinct naming conventions.
Oh, what are these? Well, these are the Oryx. Like the Urukai. No, different than the Urukai.
Yes, yes. You have like the Marines of, or I'm sorry, the Soldiers of Space.
Yes.
You have what the Angry Church Lady Robot.
Mm-hmm. This was one that I ran into that I was particularly happy about because it skirts so very close. Where it's, again, those of you that know, and those of you that don't. But there's a, I hesitate to say a 40K faction because technically they're a 30K. They're a Horus Heresy faction that are like the Proto-Imperial Guard called the Solar Auxilia. Well, I may or may not have come across a group of models that are similar to this idea, but like corrupted by the forces of disorder, that are called the Lunar Auxilia. So clearly two different ideas.
Can I offer you a bloody, glorious Hawk Boy?
Oh, I do like a bloody, glorious Hawk Boy.
Legally not. Yeah, it's pretty great.
You know what? Ridley is starting to look a little bit more Ridley-ish. I'm thinking after this coat dries, he'll probably get like an actual honest-to-God black wash. And then I'll get his eyes, and like he's gonna be more or less tabletop ready. Like he might be a little bit north of tabletop ready, but not a lot. I'm not, like, everybody that's been in here for more than a few episodes knows I don't claim to be great at this. I just claim to have fun doing it and unwind while I'm doing it. I'm good enough that I don't mind doing it in front of people. When I really want to put 4 hours into a mini, I can do that.
See, I can't. I cannot visualize the number of layers required, which is why I'm going with like the macro-sized prop stuff because, well, it only has to look good from 3 feet away.
Right. And I mean, for the most part, that is in fact glued to my cutting mat. There we go. Aha! Now it's on my fingers. No, we're okay. We're okay. Everything's all right.
Okay.
I have acetone nearby if I need it, I think.
That's probably good. Hello, Green Warden. You've arrived just in time to see
Something happened.
Yes.
And glue interact with the oils on the human fingertips.
That happens. Humans have a number of oils available. Some
They
of
do.
them commercially, other as more of a cottage industry.
What in the fuck is going on here?
Science.
This is not how paint thins. What is happening? What has globbed up on this brush? What manner of witchcraft is this?
Curdled paint. Fragtastic is rating. Hello, hello, and welcome.
You know, I swear someday I'm going to learn what the hell that means. Oh, that's what happened. It turns out super glue accelerant does not thin paint.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would make a difference.
Oh my. Chat, as I was just luckily saying, I am not great at this because otherwise I would look like a tremendous ass right now.
Ooh, Photon 4K for $203. That is tempting.
That is very nice. Now, I'm not going to speak for the new Photons. I don't know anything about them. I had an OG Photon, and my new one is an Elegoo. The Mars 3 has been amazing.
I wound up going with the weird one.
Oh, you've got the frozen?
I didn't go with the frozen.
Ooh,
Weirder,
now it's even weirder.
because it isn't from the Chi 2 ecosystem.
Oh, it's even more bizarre. What have you got?
I have to remember the name of it one moment.
The Matey Uppy 4000. That's right, the Matey Uppy 4000 for all of your potential needs of unspecified varieties. All right, folks, here we're going to go. Cold, if you're still in here. Oh, what does black wash do? Okay,
Okay, I found it.
Cold, black wash is a very, very thin paint that gets, like we were saying earlier, with like the filters and the glazes and this kind of stuff. A wash is a paint that is very thin, that if you're doing it right, it has a very low surface tension that will flow into the cracks and come right off of the flat parts and just add shading to a model. Now, sometimes this looks good, sometimes this doesn't. Sometimes you really need to match up the color that you're making the wash with. But for, stuff as dark as what I'm working with here, black wash is going to work just fine. If I were doing like yellow, I would want to use like an earth tone wash or maybe a red wash. But for this, black's going to be good. I'll show you what it does next. Go. What have you got, Squick?
I have a Creality Halot 1.
Ooh, I have heard of this.
They're weird, and they don't play nice with most of the available slicers, but the hardware has been fantastic.
Ooh. Like, it doesn't like Chitubox? I suppose it wouldn't like Chitubox since it's Chitu.
Yep.
I bet it works with Lychee or Prusa.
Lychee, it does. Prusa, you might be able to use UV tools to convert it, but Prusa, they're still first party only on the resin side as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so here comes one of my favorite techniques, and we're going to protect my keyboard this time since it's already speckled.
Show us your learnings.
Yes, my learnings. Step 1 of learning. Put down sheet of paper to guard things. Step 2, make sure that sheet of paper doesn't move by using whatever machining tools you have on hand. In this case, a 1-2-3 block. For those of you that don't know, this is a heavy piece of steel.
Very precise piece of heavy steel.
It is. It's 1 inch by 2 inches by 3 inches. The 1-2-3 block.
Within a few thousandths.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Thousandths.
Now,
I can operate a human mouth.
By contrast to 1-2-3 block that is very precise, this is very imprecise and random. So we get just a fuck ton, and that is in fact the scientific term for what I'm doing here. Just a fuck ton of white paint on this brush because I want to put like little star spots on it. Because if you look up Alpha Galaxy paint schemes on the Unit Color Compendium, then you'll find out that it's like, oh, it's dark, very, very dark blue with like some, like a starscape on it. But we want it to look random, and I don't want to have to go through and paint little bitty dots all over this thing. So we do this. We get wet paint on this brush. We really inundate this cheap-ass, god-awful brush. That's not good for any kind of detail work. And we take another thing, in this case, a popsicle stick, and we just whack the shit out of it against the popsicle stick. And this will create a paint spatter on, the thing it's spattering paint on. In a shocking
Slam,
twist.
bap, wappity.
So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's basically the front. Now we'll do basically the side. We'll reload the brush.
And I'm just going to throw in Angry Skeleton Man, not just for CNC milling, but any kind of metal workshop milling.
Frankly, you can use it a lot for woodworking also, because even if you're not using the measurements, it's still like 90 fucking degrees.
Anything where you need some measure of precision.
Yeah. Like if you need to set up your table saw blade back up to 90 degrees after you've cut a miter, by God, this will give you 90 degrees. As long as your table saw table is properly angled to your blade. Actually, I guess it doesn't. Oh no, I've gotten paint on my monitor. This has happened before. It'll happen again.
You wrap it like with saran wrap, or?
What? The monitor?
Yeah.
No! No! No, I just fuck it up every couple of months.
Understandable.
Yeah. So then I take this, which is alcohol, and I go spritz, 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 spritz. By the way, this is why most mini painters don't paint at their computer desks. And this is why much of my computer equipment is covered in paint. And we'll just take a paper towel and we'll go wipe, 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 wipe. And absolutely none of this will come off. I'll get it later. Oh, wow. None of that came off. This is going to be a good night, guys.
Paint.
Let's see if I can do this one more time and really inundate this shit. Maybe let it sit for a couple minutes before I try to wipe it. Maybe that'll help. But these are the dangers of painting, folks. Sometimes zany shit can happen. Of course, now my office smells like a still. However, the paint is coming.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. It's certainly not bad.
I mean, that's why you're watching it live, people.
That's right. This is riveting
you
television.
You don't learn how to take paint off your monitor from a tutorial video.
I hope not. That would be a bad tutorial video. Unless it's a tutorial video specifically about this problem.
In which case, you've spent enough time finding it, the moment to fix it has passed.
Okay, and there we go. And ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten like 85% of the paint off. So there we go. Alcohol. Some people will tell you not to use alcohol on a monitor screen. I've not had a problem yet. Maybe I will. Who knows? I'm not an expert in things. On the other hand, look at that Alpha Galaxy paint job. I got a couple of very large spots on it, but sometimes space is very spotty.
True fact.
It's, in fact, the way space is full of things. And at the same time, not.
You know, like robots.
Yeah. Space robots.
Space robots.
More than meets some space.
See, now it sounds like a intergalactic robot dating site.
Intergalactic planetary?
Planetary intergalactic. Have you ever seen the music video for that?
I have.
It is wild. It is an adventure from start to finish.
You know, there are some music videos out there that are better than the songs that they're portraying. Occasionally, you'll run into a video that they're matched up very well, and they're a mix of melodrama and insanity. Like Knights of Sidonia by...
Oh, yeah, with...
yeah.
Absolute banger.
Knights of Sidonia by that band. You know, that band...
I do.
That I have now?
Google.
Muse, yes, thank you, chat.
That's the one.
Yeah, you know, that's a music video that has, let's see, it's space cowboys kung fu fighting robots on Mars.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's amazing. Just across the board, that is amazing.
Tell me, have you ever seen the foreign film, often known in U.S. markets as Turkish Star Wars, but officially The Man Who Saves the World?
No, I have not actually seen Turkish Star Wars.
Oh, but it's amazing. It's not good, but it's amazing. Like, the Earth is destroyed 4 or 5 times just in the opening credits scroll.
Well, those are the best movies.
Oh, yeah, it's all downhill from there. Like, you know, minor spoiler for the first 5 minutes of the film. Do you know you can summon skeletons by whistling wrong?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
In fact, well known by people.
All kinds of people that do things and stuff.
Yeah, but they fight a space Muppet.
Yeah.
They
well-known threat in space.
Violate every copyright law available.
It is a Turkish movie.
And so rumor mill says, and I haven't been able to verify independently, but the rest of the movie makes me think it's very correct, that, you know, they didn't really have a special effects budget. So when they need a dude to kick something so hard it explodes against the side of a mountain, they just had him kick a grenade.
Oh my. That seems like that is of questionable suggestibility. I perhaps would not follow through with such an idea myself.
Probably wouldn't be the best idea, no.
You know, this sounds about as good as Italian Spider-Man.
Ooh. Okay, I need to see them back to back as a double feature.
Science fiction double feature.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's gonna be a watch together, isn't it?
Oh.
Just
Let me
pick,
see if it's still on YouTube.
just like pick a Friday night on the BPL. This is occasionally the kind of shit we did. We watched an early Jackie Chan movie the other night. I don't have any idea what it is. Nobody ask me, please. But somebody selected an early Jackie Chan movie, and we watched it together in the Discord, and it was certainly an experience.
Oh, good lord. It's available in its 121-minute and 37-second entirety.
Oh God, it's 2 hours.
It is a thing that happens. Oh my.
Now, is that a standard oh my, or is that a very oh my?
I'm remembering back in college when I watched this, and I convinced other people to watch it on the grounds that no individual human should watch this on their own.
I did that shit in college too. So I'm remembering watching stuff like The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, which is a deliberate lampooning of that.
Have you ever seen Yellowbeard?
No, I have not seen Yellowbeard.
It is A, very period piece, but B, once you're past that and you're willing to look past the age, and some of the humor there did not age well.
Mm-hmm.
But some of it really, really did. And it's got a whole bunch of people in there who you really wouldn't expect. I'm pretty sure they got Tim Curry and Cheech and Chong in there.
Oh my.
And it's just bizarre. It's great, but it's difficult to explain because everything about it is very much taken from the gaming table and dialed up to 11.
Oh. Yep, familiar with that.
But from the 80s.
Oh, there's some Chick Track stuff mixed into that, isn't there?
Almost certainly. It again,
oh God, dude. My wife went out and checked the mail the other day. And guys, by the way, it is 2022. I want to make sure everybody is aware of this. My wife went out and checked the mail the other day, and there was a Chick Track in our mailbox.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like on purpose? Someone left it there?
I guess.
What were they mad about?
I couldn't begin to tell you.
Oh, okay, fair.
I could not begin to tell you. Okay, I see your rinse well for cleaning paint and stuff, since I took half a moment to look.
Oh yeah, let me follow that up with some Turkish Star Wars.
Oh, good. This is what we needed, chat. We're gonna save that for later. That'll be a special tool that'll help us later.
Helping is far too strong a word. Like, this will poison your inventory and take up a slot.
Oh, and it will also, it's locked to a quest, and actually it won't go away after the quest is complete. It's Fallout 4, in other words. Or maybe it's one of those gems from Skyrim I can't remember the name of. Let's see. Somewhere I have Dark Wash, or Dark Tone, as it were. Cold, if you're still watching, I'm going to show you what a wash does. So this is Army Painter Quick Shade. The color is Dark Tone. I like Army Painter for washes. I haven't tried their quick paints yet. At some point I will. We'll see how it goes. But their washes are like really kind of thick and viscous. They've got a good starting point for that. And you can thin them down, which I recommend you do. But I like to thin them down with just a touch, like a full drop there is too much. So we'll put that off to the side of a flow improver. And then you get a little bit of it on a brush and you mix it in. But I'm also going to mix in some water because, you know, who doesn't like to play mad scientist as long as you're not doing it with super glue activator. So we'll mix some water into it to thin it out some. Then after that, we will get some of this flow improver. And it doesn't take much flow improver. The flow improver will lower the surface tension so the fluid moves more easily. Colt, I didn't think you'd fallen asleep, but I thought maybe you got bored and wandered off. Okay, so here's Ridley. Let's make sure I can get some good light on Ridley so you can really see what I do here. Okay. Let's move the camera so that I can get him right under the light. By the way, there's the rest of my desk. Okay, so wash on brush, wash on model. You can see it doesn't really do anything to the surface, but it gets down into those cracks and settles there. And by doing that, you can add depth to your models. And especially if it's like a fairly thin wash, it's not gonna, and again, with a touch of flow improver, it won't settle on the surfaces. It won't leave tide marks on your model, which if you just use a regular wash without a little bit of flow improver to it, it will occasionally leave what gets referred to as tide marks, where there's just kind of like a circle of pigment where it's settled and dried. You don't want that. But that's mostly going to happen on big flat panels, and Ridley here doesn't have any flat. Even his wings are textured. So we'll get him done. And you can see, like, there in between his ribs where that's really, the wash is really showing up there. That's what the wash will do. Washes do not work very well on battle mechs. I want to make that clear. You really want to do layers on a battle mech.
Mech wash.
That's right. You can buy the new Marik Mech Wash directly from your Aryan Battle Mechs Limited dealer. Get the new Mech Wash from Aryan Battle Mechs.
What was that? Mech Warrior 3? 4? Where you had the MFBs following you around?
The MFBs.
Yeah, the mobile field bases where they would
that was 3
silo and be like a 30-second mech wash.
Yeah, that was 3. And they got rid of that for 4 because it was broken. I mean, it's a single player campaign, so who cares? But like,
I enjoyed it.
Now, MechWarrior 4 did have field bases, but they were like garages. And they weren't like things you could order around.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So yeah, I would like to read for you the opening of this film because it is magical.
I do like magical films.
And I don't know how else to describe it other than taking you along for the journey. And I need to preface this by saying all of this is played over, call it early 80s synthwave background music with footage straight up from Star Wars in the background, edited really weirdly.
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm waiting for it to come up.
Ba, 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 ba,
By
ba, ba,
going
ba,
into
ba, ba.
space and landing on the moon, the space age begins.
Yes, much as it
Space
does.
age is an era of progression for man. Thousands years they lived this way. Space age had been passed. Now began the galaxy age.
Ooh, I do like Galaxy Age.
Thousands of years passed, and Earth's planet system turned into the galaxy system.
Ooh.
Civilizations in history had become past. Man adopted a simple life, as in primitive ages.
Ooh.
And with all their power, they initiated relentless struggle to find immortality. Earth nations, civilizations, race, and religions became one, there was only one human life form and tribe in the galaxy age. Earth was facing the danger of extinction as a result of a crazy nuclear armament.
We
Earth
have
had
descended
avoided
to the
such-
point, I think one of us is having a stroke.
It's just like this, but it keeps going. That confused one. This is Turkish Star Wars, available for your viewing entertainment on YouTube.
For what it's worth, Grimos, I wasn't actually painting anything. I was getting ready, but I haven't painted anything. What did I...
Not a single force had been able to destroy the Earth.
Not one.
However, in some cases, Earth had been disintegrated into parts.
Ooh. Well, that happens.
Parts which fragmented off the Earth had become meteor in space.
Ooh, space meteor Earth
Space meteor.
disintegrated.
On some planets, life was still going on. However, the nuclear war gained momentum for the sake of the rulers becoming more powerful.
That is how things tend to work, yes.
While the beautiful and happy world was madly destroyed. Suddenly, Earth comes across a mysterious, strong enemy. Our world, formed into matter from raisin energy 5 billion years ago, got fragmented into dust by laser rays in the galaxy age.
Again.
Who was this enemy? From which galaxy was he? Humans used one single weapon against the danger.
Just
They
one.
started to resist with a shield welded with human brain and willpower. A coating formed by compressed human brain molecules
Ooh.
protected the Earth.
Those are
And
words.
that's the point where I can't keep reading this. It hurts my brain
You know,
trying to process the words coming out of my mouth.
for those of you that follow the podcast, you're already aware of this. At some point in the past, the BPL created the Knife Fight Cinematic Universe t-shirt.
Knife
Right?
Fight City.
Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe. Anyway, that happened. But then we created a t-shirt, which, members of the Legion were able to, buy from Eldonius. And it was a limited run, and then it was gone. And then, shockingly, within a week, there were knockoffs.
Oh, I need to find one of the knockoffs.
Okay, I am going to read you a description from one of these that I found last week. I sent it to Tex, and even Tex's response to this was effectively, it was a wild riot of words. Okay. Knife Fight City. A made-up cinematic series from the BPL. The innate nature in man recognizes the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt. What is good and bad? What is true and false? It recognizes that attributes of Allah must be true, unique, and all perfect. It does not feel comfortable toward any kind of degradation of his attributes and does not does it qualities to the Creator. Many who become discontent with God did so because of the practices of the church in medieval Europe and because of the claims of God dwelling in a son and the concept of original sin. However, they quote-unquote escaped into worshiping a new theory called Mother Nature, as well as the quote-unquote material world. With the advancements of materialistic technology, others from different religions adopted the concept of, quote, forgetting about God and, quote, let us live this life and enjoy it, not realizing they have chosen the worship of the, quote, original God of Rome, desire. Ow! We can see that of this materialistic and secular progress produced a spiritual vacuum that led to complex social, economical, political, and psychological problems. The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve, and ladies t-shirt.
Wow. Okay, that's hurt brain. And I did my own search, and I don't know if the robots are just angry about this shirt or if people keep having the stronk when attempting to write ad copy for their knockoff products. I have found a competing option.
Oh, and we broke off Ridley's head again.
Oh, that happens. Perhaps he needs a Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe
He might.
t-shirt.
However, that might be due to his belief of the church's actions in the medieval age.
Is that better or worse than Time Cube?
Let's find out.
Oh no.
Now, what is your competing option? I'm curious.
The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt. He was the collateral damage in a throwdown between Thor and the villain Mongoose, but Odin recognized Eric's intrinsic decency, so he saved his This Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt in the only way he could. Odin merged Thor and Eric into one person. For a while, Eric functioned as Thor's
Holy
identity.
God! Let
He
me
wasn't
interrupt you
running
for
around
a
with a
second.
cape and helmet.
This is a Marvel Comics character. Like, this is an honest-to-God... I think he was called something like Thunderblast or something, but he was a knockoff Thor for a while in, like, the late 80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry, please proceed.
Anytime Thor needed to be a civilian, he assumed the identity of Eric Masterson.
Mm-hmm.
This was how Eric was able to use Mjolnir. However, eventually Thor and Eric were able to separate again, with Odin forging a new weapon just for Eric, a mace called Thunderstrike. The
There it
Allfather
is.
just giving those out like candy on Halloween, it
He
seems.
does do that. He does.
Fairy tales begin with conflict. We all began our lives with conflict. We are all misfit for the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt, and somehow we must fit in with other people. And thus we must invent or find the means through communications to satisfy and resolve conflicting desire and interests. Fairy tales are rooted in oral traditions, and they were never given titles, nor did they exist in the forms in which they're told, painted, printed, recorded, performed, and filmed today. They were never specifically intended for children. The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt, hoodie, sweater, v-neck, unisex, and t-shirt. Best the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt. I am 66 years old, unmarried, and very happy. Here's the thing. You cannot allow your happiness to depend on another. The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt. You should learn to like and love yourself enough that you make you happy. To pin your happiness on another places a burden on them that often, with time, becomes intolerable.
Yes.
And 9 times out of 10 times, that other person leaves, and you want to know why. It's because you were the ivy plant that choked the oak.
Yes, that is
Broke
what
it down.
happened.
Sorry to have done that to you. You want to live longer? Science is working on it. But in the meanwhile, you'll have to simply accept living thousands of the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt through this thing I call reading. Through reading, you'll imbibe the lives of dozens, hundreds, or thousands of people. The best part is that you'll be able to avoid all the boring stuff I mentioned above. I read a lot. Most of it is fiction, but
Okay,
a fair amount
let me
is
interject.
nonfiction.
Let me interject quickly. For Cold, who I trust is still in the chat, I'm going to dry brush Ridley now, and we're going to continue listening. Speaker of Lies, I'm going to let Squick tell you what the hell is going on, and then he will continue.
We are reading the ad copy for knockoff Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe apparel.
Okay. A little bit of gray paint on brush. I got as much off of it onto the paper towel as I reasonably could. And then just find a spot like this ridged tail here. And we're just going to like stroke it. Stroke it in the direction the tail runs. And like that's going to bring out the edges.
Oh, nice.
So,
We're also being forced to stretch.
Oh,
Oh, I have shoulders and they're angered.
Rog.
Hooah.
Hooah. Hooah indeed. The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe.
Yes, chat is positing that ButtBot is selling knockoff Knife Fight City merch.
I don't think ButtBot's this dumb. And I haven't heard you say butt once yet, so this is clearly not ButtBot.
Yeah, and final line of this thing. Pretty much every book I read has somehow changed who I am. End of
The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
T-shirt, hoodie, long sleeve shirt, lady shirt.
Available in sizes small through 5XL.
I feel like we could make a podcast, or if not a podcast, at least a show on this channel that's just this. That's just reading this nonsense.
I'd be for it.
I think you'd have to be the one to read it with your NPR voice.
Well, I'd certainly be happy to lend my voice, but I need people to bounce off of. Otherwise, it's just a dry read, and then I just wander off.
It's true. He does occasionally just wander off.
And that happens. Yeah, that's... Oh, God, what else do they have?
They have
Official monkey knife fight store?
Well, I mean, of course. You don't want the unofficial monkey knife fight store, do you? Now, this blue violet is going to be too bright for the purple dry brushing. And Xarius purple from Citadel is going to be too dark. So we're going to do just a little bit of a mix of both. And that should give me something right in the middle that would be good for the wings. And now we're not going to do this thing again where you spray out like 100,000 times more paint than I need, bottle. That is not an option here. We're going to take a toothpick. We're going to take a different toothpick that's not caked in super glue, and we're going to clear that. Oh my, that is stuck in there. So we're going to take a metal pick, and we're going to clear that. Ah, there it went. And now we're going to get
Hello, Diggs.
Ah, Diggs! Oh God. Oh God, the confused one is now giving us another ad copy of the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe.
How many knockoff mug.
Ooh, we have a mug now. I didn't know we had a
Yeah,
mug.
there's a knockoff mug available.
Is it really a
it
knockoff if we never made one?
Well, it claims to be 100% cotton. So
You caught me off guard there. You
Yeah.
made me literally do a spit take.
The Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt. Best Stores LeBeau doesn't hand embroider each pair anymore, but they are made in Los Angeles. She'll make custom pieces, though. The first launch has 4 styles: a cactus, an orange poppy, a pink poppy, and a strawberry. LeBeau plans to switch up the additionally. I will love this embroidery every few months, so each pair is limited edition in a way. Also in the cards are unisex boxers, another one of LeBeau's favorite pieces of clothing.
Clothing.
This one posits that the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe coffee mug, available in 100% cotton or a cotton poly blend, is perfect gift for great family on Christmas, birthday, New Year's, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Parents' Day, July 4th, Thanksgiving, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, holidays, Earth Day, birthday gifts, team back to school 2021-2022.
I would like to remind everyone that Father's Day is in fact coming up, and that you should get your father a knockoff Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe t-shirt.
Or mug, available in a poly cotton blend.
Yep. Or 100% cotton.
Yes, depending on your preferred.
100% cotton mug. That's right, folks. You too can own a 100% cotton Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe mug or polyester blend.
Oh God, I found a third one.
Oh God, why?
The thing is, the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt. In this case, I'm not actually sure if we can ride a bike. I would say that we need some moral rules as training wheels. And then it hurt brain. It hurt brain with words.
Guys, I think we broke Squick.
It's cool. It's cool. It's fine. We have spares.
Somebody break out an extra Squick. We need to send this one back on the warranty. Get the cloning vats out.
Oh yes, like proper Eldonia shirts, top notch. Highly
Yes.
recommended.
Although I do want to say, do not come in tall sizes.
Sad face. Mine was also marked as not intended for use on a human torso.
Oh, well, clearly.
But then I bought an art pack, and I asked for it to be screamed at by a bird, and then it was screamed at by a bird.
Oh, good, good. Well, I mean, Eldonius does, in fact, have the on-site bird screaming capabilities, so...
Yeah, it's very, very nice. Like, it's as it goes into the package, so it's sealed fresh. Oh god, he's scrambleizing. Yeah, that's correct. God, I found a fourth one.
Squig, stop! You're gonna hurt yourself.
Why have the robots been angered to this degree?
They're not angered, they're inspired.
We're just saying, didn't you say that technically experience-it-wise that Buccaneers is way more Pro Bowl team than that team, and they won the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt Super Bowl last?
They did. That happened.
And you're gonna trolley mean, is it? His Patrick Moon has this year, look at Baker. Through Rob, that man is slinging what bro, we've gone back to the Super Bowl. The Risotto Show shirt, the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe shirt.
Now, I do want to take a moment while we're kind of talking about sports and just say, fuck the Cubs, and I had a good day on the sports front.
Yay, sport.
My bottom of the rung team this year in baseball just beat the ever-living dog shit out of the Cubs today. It was a good day. And when I say beat the ever-living dog shit out of the Cubs, I mean the score was Cubs 5, Cincinnati 20.
Ooh, that's a bigger number.
The Reds haven't scored 20 runs in a game since 1999.
Well, everything old is new again.
I hope that means that the Reds are good again at some point. For those of you that know, sell the team Bob. Nobody else needs to be concerned about that. That's just for me. Sometimes we do this shit just for us. Sometimes we do this shit for the Knife Fight City Cinematic Universe. Shirt, mug, hoodie, lady shirt, 100% cotton.
Yes. Lord Grimos wants to know, hey gents, do you guys think that a bucket hat is good apparel for service in the Van Zant militia? And I'm gonna say that depends. Have you cut eyes and a mouth hole out of it? If not, it's probably pretty useful.
Well,
if you have, about on par with most of the other stuff. Probably cheaper, easier to wash.
Now, I would
So
say,
either way, yeah.
I would say that there are good odds that the Van Zant Free State Militia, in fact, also is willing to give you some vintage, late 90s, early aughts United States Army boonie hats. Because God knows those things are everywhere. Yeah. Now, I'm assuming by bucket hat, what we mean here is a Generation 1 Neuro helmet.
Oh, I was thinking a literal bucket.
No, I mean,
they're
it could
probably
go
the
either
same
way.
thing. We'll just swap one
They
out
are.
for the other for training.
This is true. They are roughly the same thing. Okay. I'm pretty happy with Ridley here. I don't know how y'all feel about him, but I think he looks pretty good.
Nice. And yes, that is Ridley, their Knocked Steel, who just joined.
Oh, God. Night Clerk has another one. Oh, God. It is almost the end of this show, but by golly. Let's go through real quick what I have managed to accomplish here and see if I can't quickly do some work to finish up this Loki, because he needs a little bit of red and a little bit of blue, and then he's basically done. Frankly, I hope everybody's learned something tonight, even if it's that sometimes bots make ads and they don't make no sense.
Have fun out there, that confused one.
Red, 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 and then we need a little touch of blue for these PPCs, although this is an Omnimax, so, you know, make it whatever the fuck you want it to be. But we're going to make these PPCs, because the best cannons project particles. Right, Squick? The best cannons project particles.
Well-known fact.
This is true. This is the way of things.
Question.
Answer. I'm glad we had this
Is a particle
conversation.
beam cannon then just a fancy flashlight and a beehive round filled with 22 ammo?
It could be both. It could, in fact, be a beehive round full of 22 ammo that you have projected a laser through and turned all of the shot in it into plasma.
Reasonable.
A very high intensity laser beam. So yes, I'm willing to go with that. Okay. So here's what we've got, guys. Here's. Oh wait, let's do one more thing and then we'll call it a night. I need some neon radioactive green paint here, real quick, just for the visor, because I always like to offset my my cockpits with something that is super distinctive from the rest of this. And let's see if I need a smaller brush. Let's see. I need the smallest brush I have easily available with the sharpest point I can get, and this 00 is going to do the job tonight. And we need just a little bit of paint on this, and we get some of it off on the palette. Let's see what I can do. Let's see. Okay, we can all see that. I am just going to try to come in here very gently and just kind of poke at the cockpit. You don't even want to try to brush at this. It is too small. It is too precise. Just kind of gently stipple at it. And there we go. There we go. There's our Loki. And you may or may not be able to see the cockpit tonight, but when I post pictures of it, I'll have them next week in the opening, and I'll have them on my Instagram, which is in the closing here. Then we'll all see how it turned out. But we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Squick, do you have any shows on WBPL 76 you would like to tell people about?
Oh, while there are a wide variety of excellent quality entertainment options, I personally am only involved in,
7 or 8?
Here and there.
7 or 8 of them?
No, there's, every other Sunday?
Okay.
Yeah, but,
And again, we want...
Frostpunk,
Okay, we also want to remind everybody that not this week, but next week, June 4th, Stryker and Tex and Gypsy and Mike are going to be doing their Warhammer follow-up Q&A.
oh, yes.
So everybody needs to tune in for that. I have once again forgotten what time that is.
Yeah, it's the time of the day.
So, it is at some point in time during the day. And that if you want to get something in there, send your emails to, what is it? It's, is it questions@wbpl76.com, I think?
Give me a moment. I'll see if I can scare up that information while we ramble on verbal style.
That's right. We're going to go ahead and ramble on for a bit in the most verbal of natures while we talk about things. And I just want to remind everybody that Stryker is going to be leading that conversation, and that you all need to send in questions for Stryker about Ghostbusters. That's okay. Thank you, Swish. And send in your questions about Ghostbusters for Squick. Not Squick. I'm sorry, Squick. I assume you know something about Ghostbusters, but
I know many things, some of them accurate.
oh, good. But Stryker is going to be interviewing Tex and company about the Warhammer, so be sure to ask Stryker about Ghostbusters. Because Stryker knows more about Ghostbusters than Ivan Reyes. Or Jason Reyes.
Does this mean halfway through, like the whole thing, we're just going to try and convince Mike to bust out the Ghost Guide?
Yes.
Oh, reasonable.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Yeah, so, stuff happening.
Yes. And again, we're going to have the end card here that's going to have information for submitting your art to us to review. And I have broken off Wrigley's head again, this time with an arm. So y'all got to see it. The arm was not. We will glue that back together and get some pictures of it before it is sundered for all of eternity. This is what happens when you scale down a very spindly model.
Fair.
So, guys, you have a good night. Submit your stuff and have a good night. Thanks for coming. Later on.
Have fun out there.
Yeah. Keep your stick upon the ice.
Yes. Have fun out there, ladies and gentlemen.